Welcome to Master 2255 English Phrasal Verbs, complete course with 150 categories for fluency. Today, we've reached category 142, Planning and Organization, top phrasal verbs for effective management. This category is packed with essential verbs you'll need to plan, organize, and manage tasks like a pro. Let's get started. First up is set up. This means to arrange, prepare, or establish something. For example, we need to set up a meeting with the client for next week. It's used for organizing events, systems, or tools needed for a project. Next is plan out. This means to create a detailed plan for something. For example, we need to plan out the entire campaign before the launch date. It emphasizes the process of organizing every step of a project. Then we have put together. This means to assemble or create something by combining parts. For example, she put together a detailed proposal for the new strategy. It's often used for reports, presentations, or action plans. Next is work out. This means to find a solution or finalize details. For example, we need to work out the timeline for the project. It's used when negotiating, problem solving, or figuring out specific details. Now, let's look at follow through. This means to complete a task or finish what you started. For example, if we start this project, we must follow through to the end. It emphasizes commitment and perseverance. Another key verb is draw up. This means to create a formal document or plan. For example, they drew up a new contract for the supplier. It's often used for contracts, agreements, and official documents. Next is run through. This means to quickly review or go over something. For example, let's run through the agenda before the meeting starts. It's commonly used in meetings, rehearsals, or project reviews. Then we have breakdown. This means to divide something into smaller parts for better understanding. For example, we need to break down the project into smaller, manageable tasks. It's useful for simplifying complex projects. Next is map out. This means to create a clear plan or strategy. For example, they mapped out the next steps for the product launch. It's often used in strategic planning and project management. Then we have put off. This means to delay or postpone something. For example, they put off the meeting until next week. It's commonly used for meetings, deadlines, and tasks that need to be rescheduled. Next up is get ahead. This means to make progress or gain an advantage. For example, she's working overtime to get ahead of her deadlines. It's used when you're moving faster than expected or gaining an edge. Then we have step back. This means to pause or take a moment to assess a situation. For example, let's step back and review our priorities before continuing. It's used when you need to reflect or reevaluate your approach. Next is call off. This means to cancel an event, meeting, or project. For example, they had to call off the event due to bad weather. It's used when something is permanently or temporarily canceled. Then we have carry on with. This means to continue doing something. For example, after the interruption, they carried on with the presentation. It's used when resuming an activity after a pause. Finally, we have look ahead. This means to think about the future or plan for it. For example, we need to look ahead and prepare for possible challenges. It's used when forecasting or thinking strategically about the future. And that's it for category 142, Planning and Organization. Top phrasal verbs for effective management. These phrasal verbs will help you sound more professional and organized in your workplace conversations. See you in the next lesson for category 143.